So, we got a lot of hay in the barn, America. We're still, with all this inflation, we're still the best positioned country in the world for the next 20 or 30 years. By far, it's not close. And inflation is coming down. The Federal Reserve has finally lowered interest rates. That's going to lower mortgage rates and borrowing rates generally. And one of the problems we got is when people kept telling you that inflation was down, you couldn't tell at the grocery store or the pump. There's a reason for that. The economists say that food prices change so much and fuel prices change so much, we can't put them in core inflation because there's no trend. It'll be up one month, down another. But here's why it affects you. Maybe you got a locally owned grocery store here that you shop at, and they do the best they can. And if they're charging you more than you think you should pay, it's because they're having to pay more for food wholesale. But most of the grocery market now is heavily concentrated in a few big owners, the Whole Foods and the other chains and all that. They earn a surprisingly low profit margin, but they're selling to a zillion people, right? So if I'm selling something to 1 million people and my normal margin is 3%, if I get to charge 4, I'm a rich person. That's what's going on with the food. In other words, it's not like the profit margins have gone way up. They don't have to go way up. So this problem has largely been left to the states for 100 years. It's called price gouging. That is, if I can control a price without selling less, if I can raise the price without selling less, that's called price gouging. That belongs in state law, historically. Kamala Harris is the only candidate who has said that with so much concentration in the grocery market, we have got to have a national price gouging law so the Justice Department can look at it. Because if it's inflation they can't avoid, that's fine. We don't want to put them out of business. But if they're trying to put you out of business, that's not fine. And that's just one example. Now, still, most people don't know that. That is a big deal, that she is the only candidate with any plan that will actually give us a practical way to deal with this grocery problem without sticking it to honest people doing their best to run a grocery store and selling you food at reasonable prices. It's the only, and we should be jumping up and down.